Hello, and welcome to GTO Coach and Go. I'm Jim Delleman with Group Travel Odyssey, and I want to thank you for joining us today. Before we get started, I did want to remind you that if you are watching us on YouTube and you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, please make sure to click that little button down here that says subscribed. Also, if you ring the bell, it'll give you a notification anytime we have new content that we post on our YouTube channel. As well as that, if you are following us on LinkedIn, or if you haven't yet followed us on LinkedIn, make sure you do so. We're at Group Travel Odyssey at LinkedIn. So we hope to see you on both of those places. Well, today we're going to bring you some new information, and this is something that we've been working on for quite some time, and we're really rather excited about sharing this with you. We're going to be talking today a little bit about enhanced rooming lists for group leaders. And in order to explain all of that and to tell us exactly what that means, we're going to bring on one of our friends and one of our regulars, Christina. Christina,
Hello.
welcome back, and thank you for joining us again today.
Absolutely. Happy to be here.
Great. So I was just telling them that we're going to talk a little bit about enhanced rooming lists for group leaders. What do we mean by that?
All right. So, as we did in the previous Coach and Go, so we did create the ability for you to create rooming lists in the Passenger Manager application in the GTO system. So, at that point, you're able to assign individual passengers to a room so you can get that list together. So now what we've created is the ability for you to be able to have your group leaders create that list for you electronically instead of you having to create it in the system. So it gives you the option to do either.
Great. Oh, fantastic. So how do we go about doing it in the system?
All right. Well, I am going to share my screen and show you how that works.
Great.
All right. All right, so I just have test trips pulled up here. So just to show you how this would work. So what you'll do is in Passenger Manager, when you're on your trip record, you can go into Edit. And you'll now see under the Rooms tab, this new line up here. So what it's doing here is this, just because this is a test trip, it has a 0 value, but this is going to be the budgeted number of hotel rooms that you've put into sales and into Trip Manager. So it's going to pull that number from there. Since this is a test trip, it doesn't have any. So what instead I'm going to do is just however many rooms I want the group leader to be able to create. I would always suggest add a few on just to be on the safe side. If you need to edit it later, you can. So we would just say 5. And then once you're satisfied with that number, just click this button that says Send Rooming List Request. And then it's going to save and it's going to activate the email for a rooming list request. Once you have input that, this is one I already started for us with some test passengers. It'll tell you the date of when that request was sent and then also the number of rooms that you had put in there. So just then to show you, this is a copy of the email that would be sent to the group leader, and then it will also copy the account manager. So the account manager is what you would put into sales manager that trip, whoever is kind of doing the operations side. So that might mean that your sales manager and your account manager are the same person, and that's fine. But that's who will be copied on this email. So this green area right here, this is a button with a link that they can click and go to where they will start the rooming assignment. So I've already got that pulled up here. And just a quick note, if you are a current user and you want to play with this a little bit, which you are more than welcome to do, just open up that link in a browser you don't typically use for when you log into Group Travel Odyssey. Otherwise, it's just going to log you in and it won't look quite the same. So here we go. So what your group leader will do here is you can see it asks them what type of room they want to create. So they can pick whichever they want. We'll just say combined. And then below, it's going to show them a full list of passengers. So what they want to do is they'll just select, we'll just select 4 for now. They'll just click these check boxes and then they'll click Save and Next. and it's going to do a processing screen. So now it's putting those passengers on a room. And then it's going to keep going until we've used up all of the passengers. So now you can see that the ones we just did have disappeared. So I'm just going to keep on going till we get rid of that list. All right, and then we'll do one more. All right, and then we'll put all of the rest of these into one final room. All right, and so then this is what they'll see once they have put everyone into a room. So once everybody from that list of passengers has been assigned somewhere, it'll tell them, thank you, you've completed your rooming assignments, and it will allow them to select an option. If they're satisfied, they think everything is good, they're very confident, they can click that submit button right away. But if they want to review, just to make sure they didn't click anything wrong, they can click this review button. When they click review, it opens this screen where they can see the rooms all listed out and the passengers listed underneath. So let's say in this combined room, oh, I actually did not want passenger 4 in this combined room. They were supposed to be in a single room. So I would click this edit passenger button and I'll just say create new room for passenger. And then I can save and return. We'll let it process. All right, let's refresh once. Okay, all right, so then let's say that we want to go ahead and switch 2 people onto here. So we're gonna switch passenger, we'll switch this one here, passenger 9. So if they wanna go ahead and switch people, they can click this checkbox that says switch rooms. And let's switch passenger 9 with somebody else that's not in their room. So we'll switch them with passenger 2. And then once you've selected this option here, so what this is going to do is it's going to take passenger 9 and passenger 2, and it's just going to flip-flop their rooms. So and you click save and return. And it's going to process. All right. So now you can see, so passenger 2 has been put into this room down here, and passenger 9 has been moved up. So you can see that it's switched. And then a final option that they can do as well, if they want to change something up, click again, edit passenger. And let's say they just want to put passenger 8's not satisfied with the room they're in. So now if you click this add passenger to existing room, you can pick any different one to put them into. We're just going to put them, let's say, into room 2. Currently, they are in room 1. And then click save and return. And again, it's just going to process every time. And in the background, things are applying the passengers to each other. All right. So once they are all satisfied, this looks great. At this point, they have 2 things that can be done here. If they want to be able to have a copy for themselves, they can click this little printer icon. And it will pull up right away a screen for them to print, which they can physically print, or of course they can save it to a PDF. So we're not going to do that at this time, but then this is just see, they can have that for their own records. And I'm just going to go ahead and click the back arrow to get back here. And then if they're all good, they just click this save and submit button. And then it says, thank you, your assignments are complete. And at that point, what then happens is it's going to, which it might take a few minutes, so we might not see it come live, but it will then put in here the date that it was submitted and the rooms that have been filled. And it will also send a notification email to you and to the leader that it's submitted. So here is a copy of what that would look like. So it's just notifying them your rooming list has been submitted, and here is a notification to you as well, the coordinator, that has happened.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Once they have submitted this, what happens if they need to make more changes? Can they do so, or who does the changes after that?
Absolutely. So if they go back to the email that had the link in it, the original one. So I'm just
Mm-hmm.
going to open that up over here. So it will take them back to the screen since it's already completed. It's not going to let them submit again or make changes. And that's just a protection for you as the travel coordinator. You want to make sure that they're not just sneaking something in. They actually notify you in case you've already told the hotel or anything of that sort. So they can only click the review button at this point, and then they can go back at any point. That link will bring them to this list of rooms and they can print. They just can't make any edits.
Okay. Then if they do need to make an edit, they contact the account manager.
Correct.
Okay.
They would contact the account manager, whoever their normal contact is at your company. And we'll just
Fantastic.
refresh here to show you what ends up happening. Now that I heard it, my email go through. So now they see the submitted happened. So it tells you the date it was completed and the number of actual occupied rooms. And then you as a user to the GTO system will now see that these rooms have been filled and the passengers have been assigned.
That's fantastic. So this is basically allowing, for our users that are out there, this is basically allowing their group leaders access to specific information about their group that's on the trip without them actually getting into GTO. It
Correct.
gives them, it takes like something out of GTO for them to see and to manipulate, and then they submit it back into GTO.
Correct. Yes.
Fantastic.
So everything that happens that's a little bit more robust is happening, which is why the email to submit takes just a couple extra minutes. Is it's all happening before the email gets to them, and then after they click submit is when the bigger things are happening there. So it just really gives it an experience for them if they want to be able to see that list, especially if you're using an online registration such as WeTravel. They see all those names in one location and just kind of click and put them in rooms.
Great. And that's fantastic. And so just to clarify for myself and everybody else that's out there, so once they've hit submit, once they have, once they have reviewed everything, once they've done their changes and they've hit submit, then that kind of closes their access in to go in and edit anymore. They can still view everything, but they can't do anything else with it, correct?
Correct. We made it that way just to kind of protect you as the tour manager, just to make sure that any changes you are fully aware of. Just because at the point where they submit the rooming list, we know that usually you're doing something with it. You've got your counts. So that way they're just contacting you. If somebody was to cancel or want to switch, you would know and you would be able to make those changes in the passenger manager application.
Fantastic. Fantastic. And one other question, and if our users need more information on this, if they need to figure out, how do we get to this? How do we find out where all of this information is? What should they do?
They can either submit a help desk request or they can contact me at that email you see, Christina@gtonetwork.com. I'd be happy to walk you through it. Also, if you have questions about getting your passenger data into Passenger Manager so you can get those rooming lists done, you can ask me about that as well.
Great. That's fantastic. And also for those of you who don't know this, our new help desk is listed here. The new help desk email is help@gtonetwork.com. Again, help@gtonetwork.com. And one thing that you must do when you do that, though, in the subject line, help has to be in there somewhere. Even if you do help ! And then kind of explain what's going on. Or I need help with something, as long as help appears in there, what it does is it triggers our system to actually generate that help desk ticket. And then we can get to that faster and we can make sure that the right people are actually dealing with whatever issue you may need help with. So we wanted to remind you that we do have that. That is something that we rolled out and talked about in last week's Coach and Go. So wanted to make sure that you had that as well. If people are a little bit, I don't want to say confused, but if people have not done much in Passenger Manager, Christina did do a Coach and Go previously, explaining how Passenger Manager actually works and how you can enter passenger information and just in a nutshell, briefly, what is passenger manager other than that? I mean, just recording your passengers, of course. What is it all? What is it handling? What are they doing in passenger manager?
Sure. So it is managing your passengers. So it's managing those people that are actually going on your trip. So we know some of you have different ways that you operate. Maybe you have people registering in an online system. We have our partner We Travel, for instance, or maybe you just currently you were using Excel sheets before, and now you want a place to actually keep them and manage them in one location. That's what Passenger Manager is for. So it allows you to put in your recurring customers, for instance, and when they go on trips, it connects to that. So in addition to being able to see who's going on your trip and managing their accounts, what they've paid, specifically that person, and putting them in a rooming list like we just talked about, you can also then track throughout time how many trips they've gone on with you. So that allows you to have a little bit of a customer loyalty tracking for whatever you want to do that with. If you do discounts or promos or whatever that case might be, it gives you a better access to that data.
That's fantastic. And it's interesting going through in some of the training with some of our users, and it's one of the things that they do ask is there a way for them to keep track of if they have repeat passengers, not just repeat groups or repeat group leaders, but are there specific passengers that are traveling every year with them through one of the groups that are coming through? And this is the way for them to actually track that and keep all of that information at hand. So
Absolutely.
again, passenger manager, if you're not sure how it works, go to our YouTube channel. I keep telling everybody to go back there. All of our coaching goes that we've done from the beginning of time are listed in our YouTube channel. So make sure you go to Group Travel Odyssey under YouTube, and you can find all of our video content right there, including the one that Christina did previously on the general use of passenger manager. So actually, just any final words on how this rooming list feature is working for group leaders?
Sure. So one thing I'll mention quick, just to share my screen, one moment. So if I go back to this trip here, so the one thing I will mention is this group leader email. So right now it just has mine because I was testing it. But what you'll want to make sure when you go into edit mode on this passenger manager trip, it does take the email address as you've put it into your contacts, and it's kind of followed through the sales manager application and through trip manager. But if for whatever reason you don't want the notification for the rooming list to go to that email, you can change it, and it will just change here into passenger manager itself. So that allows you then to kind of change up who you want to actually complete it. Like, let's say there's a group leader and an assistant to the group leader, but the assistant is the one that's going to complete the list. You can change this email, click the button to send the rooming list notification, and then you can always change it back. So that's just kind of a way that you can control who's going to receive that email. So that's one thing to keep in mind.
Oh, that's excellent. And the thing that's nice about it, like you said, is it doesn't change it in the actual trip record. It's
Correct.
only changing it right there. So
Yes.
that's fantastic. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for that clarification. I
Sure,
really
sure.
appreciate that. I do want to tell people, again, you can contact Christina. You can contact me. Christina is Christina@gtonetwork.com. I am Jim@gtonetwork.com. You can contact us at any time with any questions that you may have. I do also want to let you guys know that starting next week, GTO Coach and Go is switching to Tuesdays. So we're going to be taking GTO Coach and Go Tuesdays at 2 Eastern Time, starting on the 15th next week. So please make sure to note that so that way you can join us next Tuesday instead of next Thursday. A week after that, we've got some new programming that's going to be coming up on Thursdays, and we will have more information and doing a big announcement about that the beginning of next week. So not next week, but the Thursday after next, we have new content and new information that's going to be happening Thursdays at 2 p.m. But keep track of the fact that GTO Coach and Go is going to be moving to Tuesdays starting next week. So the 15th, we will see you right here, and we will have more information on some really fantastic usage and ways to make your life more efficient when you're in the GTO system. So thank you so much for joining us today. Christina, thank you for bringing this information to everybody and helping them understand it a little bit more. And we look forward to having all of you join us again. We hope you have a fantastic week, and we will see you on Tuesday at 2 p.m. Thanks a lot and have a fantastic day.
Bye, everybody.